What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Eevee Heroes was just revealed, and this set looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be released next Friday, May 28th in Japan, and it might be a part of our upcoming August set, Evolving Skies, but we don't know for sure yet. In this video, I'm going to review all the best cards from Eevee Heroes, in my opinion. We did this review live on Twitch, so if you haven't already, make sure to check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where I stream live Pokemon trading card game content every single weekday. Now, let's check out Eevee Heroes. Eevee Heroes just dropped. We're over here on PokeGuardian.com checking out the translations for Eevee Heroes. It is a new Japanese Pokemon trading card game set, which looks like it is probably going to be a part of not Chilling Reign, but our next set, Evolving Skies. That's at least the rumor at this time, and judging by the set name Evolving Skies, I'd say that that's probably a decent bet. Looks like there are 69 cards in this in the regular set, and then of course there are secret rares as well. Let's take a look at Eevee Heroes. We've got Sylveon VMAX. Apparently every evolution has a Pokemon V and a Pokemon VMAX, which is really hype. Sylveon VMAX is a rapid strike Pokemon with 310 HP, and it's got 2 attacks. Cherish Touch for 1 psychic energy allows you to detach an energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, then heal 120 damage from that Pokemon. This is a similar kind of attack to what we've seen on Stonejourner VMAX, and we all know how good Stonejourner VMAX is. And then Max Harmony for 3 colorless energy does 70 damage plus 30 more damage for each type of Pokemon on your bench. So, if you have 5 different type of Pokemon on your bench, then you can do, 70 plus 150, 220 damage. Probably not worth it, and, it could be interesting. If they decide to re-release dual-type Pokemon in the future, then Max Harmony could be an attack that we're taking a close look at going forward. Leafeon VMAX, 310 HP. Grass-type Pokemon have had quite a tough time in the last few years since Welder has been all over the place. But we'll see what Leafeon VMAX brings to the table. For Grass and a colorless, Grass Knot does 60 damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. We've seen attacks like this before. There was that Tangrowth that does more damage. There's also Melodic V does more damage for the amount of retreat cost to energy. Not a rapid or single strike Pokemon, so we don't get that kind of boost there. And then for 2 Grass and a colorless, Max Leaf does 170 damage, and you heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. Feels like a pretty vanilla grass type attacker, and since grass type Pokemon are not in a great spot right now, I don't really expect this thing to see any play. Vigor Shake, or Sports Drink, or Evolution Soda, or whatever you want to call it. A little bottle of Gatorade. Seems pretty good. It's an item card that when you play it, it ends your turn and allows you to search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And you can use this card during your first turn or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. This is a very good card. This card could make some evolution Pokemon much more playable than they used to be. What I love about this card is that it's Marnie proof. It's fantastic. You actually can't be disrupted by Marnie, because Marnie is every evolution deck's worst nightmare. You have the evolution Pokemon in your hand, the rare candy combo, you're ready to go, right? And then all of a sudden, those cards get put onto the bottom of your deck, and you're having a bad time with only 4 cards in your hand. Now, Vigor Shake allows you to go and grab that evolved Pokemon and evolve it instantly. So even if you get your hand reset, you are still ready to rock and roll. Now, this does not combo with rare candy. So you can search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon, put it on that Pokemon. You can't skip evolutions. So This is going to be a card that kind of competes with Rare Candy, I imagine. Some evolution decks may decide to play Vigor Shake with the Stage 1 and Stage 2. Some decks may decide to just forego Vigor Shake, or maybe play a small amount of Vigor Shake and then play Rare Candy in addition to the Vigor Shake. But either way, this card is very good, and it can work on Pokemon VMAX as well. Up next, we've got Aroma Lady, which allows you to draw 2 cards and then remove all special conditions from your active Pokemon. I love supporter cards with dual effects. I really like this. The fact that you get to draw 2 and heal all special conditions. Bird Keeper is kind of a better card if we're going to think about it. If you want this kind of effect, you're just better off playing Bird Keeper, because Bird Keeper not only acts as a switch, it also removes all special conditions because it switches that Pokemon from your active to the bench. So ultimately, Bird Keeper is just the better card, right? It draws you one more card than Aroma Lady, and it still heals all active, all special conditions from your active, and it also acts as a switch in a pinch. So just a better card overall, and I don't expect Aroma Lady to really see any play. Fashion Maul is a stadium card that reads, once during each player's turn, that player may return a Pokemon tool attached to one of their Pokemon back to their hand. This is interesting. They have had Pokemon that have this kind of effect in the past. I'm not sure that being able to move your tools around warrants a stadium inclusion, but it is interesting at least, and I think that if the right kind of deck comes along, some sort of tool drop deck or something like that, comes along, or a deck where you just really have to have a specific tool and a specific type of Pokemon, then maybe this stadium sees play in that very specific deck. But this is a really kind of niche effect here, and I don't expect it to see a lot of play. Just put the tool card that you want on the Pokemon that you want, and if the Pokemon that you want's not in play, then don't play the tool card. Vaporeon V with the triple draw attack allows you to draw 3 cards, and then for 2 water and a colorless, Splash Jump does 90 damage, and you can switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. And Vaporeon is a Rapid Strike Pokemon, evolves into Vaporeon VMAX, who is a Rapid Strike Pokemon as well. Has the Water Pod attack for 1 colorless energy. You can put 1 Pokemon from your discard pile onto the bench, then attach up to 3 water energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon. I think this attack is amazing. You can put Stage 2 Pokemon straight onto your bench. You can put Pokemon VMAX straight onto your bench. Not only that, you can attach 3 water energy from your discard pile to those Pokemon. I think that there are a lot of potential combos you can pull off with Rapid Strike Vaporeon VMAX, and the fact that it gets access to that Rapid Strike energy, which is going to make it easier to use its Max Rapids attack as well. It's very good for water and 2 colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon has damage counters on it, this attack does 100 more damage, so 200 damage for just 2 energy attachments if they already have a damage counter on them, which is pretty solid. But Water Pod, wow, I mean, that is just a very powerful attack, and I really think that this could be a card that helps set up water types for formats to come. Jolteon V and Jolteon VMAX. Jolteon V has 190 HP, and I really dig this kind of cell-shaded artwork that they've got going on some of these guys. Yeah, this one's got it too. Kind of reminds me of, maybe Toon Link, and Wind Waker, Zelda, or something like that. Very cool artwork on those. You don't usually see Pokemon designed like that. It's got 2 attacks. Jolt Arrow for 1 colorless energy, does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and then Pin Missile for a lightning and 2 colorless. You flip 4 coins, and this attack does 60 damage times the number of heads. Most notably, Jolteon will evolve into Jolteon VMAX for a lightning and a colorless, and knows Max Thunderclap. This attack also does 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. Just 100, 100. That is very good. You obviously have Galarian Zigzagoon, okay, can ping damage counters on your opponent's benched Pokemon. allowing you to get that bonus effect of Max Thunderclap. Mew from Unbroken Bonds is going to be rotating out of standard format in September, meaning that there won't be any protection against this kind of bench damage. And with a low attack cost, maybe you could utilize cards like Cheryl to glance off hits in your Jolteon VMAX deck while you spread damage onto your opponent's board. I think this is a very powerful spread attack. We're also getting the Zeraora V, which has a great spread attack as well. I think 100, 160, but one of your Rapid Strike Pokemon has to have attacked during your last turn. And this Jolteon VMAX has free retreat. So I love that the Jolteon VMAX has free retreat. Overall, its damage output is a little bit low. It's weak to fighting type, so it is going to get one hit KO'd by Rapid Strike or Urshifu VMAX. But this is a powerful attack undoubtedly, and if Jolteon gets the right support, it could be a force to reckon with. Flareon V and Flareon VMAX, continuing on with that cool cel-shaded looking artwork there. Single strike Pokemon. Flareon has 210 HP, much better than Jolteon, and 2 attacks. Burning Breath for a colorless energy does 20 damage, and you get to search your deck for a fire energy and attach it to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And then Scorching Column for 2 fire and a colorless does 120 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Now, Single Strike Flareon VMAX has a very spicy attack. Max Eruption for a fighting and 2 colorless does 100 damage times, and you discard the top 5 cards of your deck. It does 100 damage for each energy you discarded in this way. So it could do 500 damage, but you do have to mill the top 5 cards of your deck. Now, with cards like Energy Recycler, it makes it pretty easy to flood your deck with energy. You do have to get 3 energy on this Flareon VMAX. If you can discard 3 fire energy out of your top 5 cards, you're going to be hitting 300. If you have a single strike energy on it, you do 320 damage, which is interesting. I think that this deck could certainly make for a fun YouTube video. Competitive, I'm not exactly convinced, but fun, most definitely. Espeon V has got the Mind Shot attack. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon V. That's a nice little spread attack there. Most of these other Pokemon V haven't had anything too interesting going on, but I really do like that attack. And then Extra Sensory, very vanilla damage output there. For Psychic and 2 colorless, does 120 damage. And then Espeon VMAX has the Solar Revelation ability. Prevents all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any energy attached to it. So your Pokemon won't get paralyzed or poisoned or anything like that, which is useful. You do have to set up an evolved Pokemon in order to put that effect into play. But if status conditions become very big, then Espeon VMAX could be a useful inclusion in your deck. And then Max Psy for Psychic and 2 colorless does 60 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon in play. Generally speaking, attacks that rely on your opponents to have a certain board state in order for them to be effective are generally kind of weak unless you are attacking for a very specific matchup. Now, we do know that the Shadow Rider Calyrex deck probably going to try to flood the field with energy, so Max Psy could be a nice counter attack for that kind of deck, which is interesting. Umbreon V and Umbreon VMAX. Single strike Pokemon with some awesome looking artwork. Umbreon is definitely one of the fan favorite evolutions, if I do say so myself. Umbreon V has got 2 attacks. Mean Look is a callback to earlier Umbreons for 1 darkness energy. Does 30 damage, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And then Moonlight Blade for dark and 2 colorless. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, does 80 more damage. Let's get to the Umbreon VMAX. Umbreon VMAX has got 310 HP and the ability Dark Signal, which reads, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. This is an amazing ability, very similar to Lycanroc GX before it, similar to Ninetales before that. There have been a bunch of Pokemon with this kind of ability throughout the history of the Pokemon TCG. There was Luxray Level X, right, which was a format-defining card as well. Now, Umbreon VMAX's attack is not super great. For Dark and 2 colorless, max darkness does 160 damage, but the implications of this card are still a big deal. Umbreon VMAX, I do not expect to ever really attack. It's going to be a Pokemon that is used for its gusting effect, and the fact that you can Dark Signal on a turn that you play a Research or some other supporter is very strong. I think that Umbreon VMAX is most certainly going to be an auto inclusion in Eternatus VMAX decks. So this is definitely a card that we're going to see in that archetype. The fact that Eternatus VMAX will pretty much not have to play Boss's Orders anymore. They can just designate that space to Umbreons and Umbreon VMAX and then be able to gust whenever they want and not have to rely on finding those Boss's Orders. They might still play a couple Boss's Orders, but they can definitely rely on more consistent gust thanks to Umbreon VMAX. I guess that Umbreon VMAX's attack can get up to some decent numbers. If you have 3 single strike energies on it, can do 220 damage, enough damage to one-hit KO a Zacian V, which is important, but I think ultimately Umbreon VMAX will be best partnered with a stronger attacker and used primarily for its Dark Signal ability. Leafeon V has the ability Greening Cells, which reads, once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you use this ability, your turn ends. Now, that is a pretty solid ability, but you have to compare it to an ability like Intrepid Sword, right? Intrepid Sword just draws you cards. Ends your turn, draws you 3 cards guaranteed, and can accelerate multiple energy into play if you're lucky. Greening Cells searches out the grass energy and can attach it to any Pokemon, but it ends your turn. I think if you're playing a Leafeon deck, that obviously this ability is very cool, but I'm not sure that you would rely on Leafeon to power up any other Pokemon. Rillaboom from Sword and Shield is probably just a stronger ability. This does remind me a little bit of Celebi Prime. Celebi Prime did see quite a bit of play when Pokemon EX were released, but Celebi Prime just had to be in the active position and could attach a grass energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, but it didn't end your turns. Celebi Prime could be used multiple times a turn. If Celebi Prime existed today, I think that card would be very good because you could scoop up net and do it over, it'd be pretty neat. But Leafeon, I don't think this Leafeon V has really got it going on. And then Leaf Blade for grass and 2 colorless does 90 damage, and you flip a coin. If heads, does 60 more damage. Glaceon V and Glaceon VMAX. Glaceon V got some nice artwork there. Love that. It's got the attack Ice Ascension for a water energy. Search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck and then white out for water and 2 colorless. Does 120 damage and you discard any stadium in play. So Ice Ascension, very nice to have. If you go second, you can attack on the first turn of the game and evolve straight into a Glaceon VMAX, who has the Crystal Veil ability, which prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon VMAX, except for Glaceon VMAX. So this is an interesting ability. Can wall off Pokemon VMAX from attacking it. A lot of times, VMAX decks, which I expect we'll see much more of in the future of the Pokemon TCG, once Tag Team Pokemon GX and all Pokemon GX for that matter rotate out of standard format, the Pokemon VMAX are the main attackers. If you want any kind of proof of concept here, imagine Eternatus VMAX trying to, just attack with its attack with its regular Eternatus V. Has a really hard time going through a Zamazenta V. This is the same ability as Zamazenta V, right? Except with the Glaceon VMAX clause in it. So Zamazenta V is a very strong card in metal decks. I think the Glaceon VMAX could very well be a powerful card also. And it's also got the Max Icicle attack for water and 2 colorless, does 150 damage, and this attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So nice little spread attack there as well. Obviously, the Glaceon does get countered by Path to the Peak. I think Path to the Peak is going to be probably one of the most powerful stadium cards released in the next year or so, if I had to guess. These kinds of stadium cards always see a lot of play. So, you know, that will probably be a little bit of a problem for walling with Glaceon VMAX and Zamazenta V in the future. Sylveon V, a Rapid Strike Pokemon with the ability Dream Gift, which reads once during your turn, you may search your deck for an item card and put it into your hand. Then Sfuffle your deck. If you use this ability, your turn ends. Unfortunately, this kind of tutoring for a card and putting it into your hand is not very good when it ends your turn because of the fact that Marnie exists, right? You could waste your turn using an ability like Dream Gift and then just have it Marnie to the bottom of the deck, and then Magical Shot for 2 colorless energy does 60 damage. Frozen Leaf Badge is a Pokemon tool card that reads, if the Pokemon this card is attached to has Leafeon or Glaceon in its name, Leafeon V or Glaceon V, it has no weakness and no retreat cost, so a nice little buff to Glaceon V and Glaceon VMAX, who is weak to metal. I'm not exactly sure that this kind of tool is going to make your Leafeon a lot better, but it is very good for Glaceon, who has kind of a problematic weakness to metal. Moon and Sun Badge is a Pokemon tool that whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, you prevent all effects of that card done to the Pokemon that this card is attached to if it has Espeon V or Umbreon V in its name. So you could basically turn your Espeon V and Umbreon V into Primal Groudons, right? Anybody who's been playing the game for a while remembers Primal Groudon EX. You prevent all effects of supporter cards done to your Primal Groudon EX, Mega Primal Groudon EX, right? Same kind of thing, except this can be tool scrappered away. It does prevent boss's orders, which is very nice, but again, could be tool scrappered. And Espeon and Umbreon weren't exactly the strongest evolutions from the set. Now, Elemental Badge seems really good. Elemental Badge is a Pokemon tool that makes the attacks of the Pokemon that have Vaporeon V, Jolteon V, or Flareon V in their name cost 1 colorless less. My goodness, I forgot about that. Yes, so this is insane, right? Because it makes your Flareon VMAX only have to have 2 energy attached in order to work. It makes Jolteon VMAX just insane, right? Because for just 1 lightning energy, you could do 100, snipe 100, and then you could Cheryl, right? And then just do it again. So I think that card single-handedly elevates this Jolteon VMAX to just a whole nother level. And similarly, Vaporeon VMAX, with that tool equipped, only needs 1 Rapid Strike energy in order to use its second attack, and can use Water Pod for free. So that is very exciting. I think that Elemental Badge is easily one of the best cards in this set. And I think that this Elemental Badge makes Jolteon and Vaporeon some of the best attackers in the set. And I think that Jolteon and Vaporeon have a pretty bright future, especially with this Elemental Badge, and I expect it to see some play for sure. Ribbon Badge is a Pokemon tool card that reads, if the Pokemon's card it's attached to has Sylveon V in its name, when it's knocked out, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize cards. So some nice prize denial there for your Sylveon, right? Sylveon V or Sylveon VMAX, right? Rapid Strike Florges is actually an interesting card. It's got the Rapid Connection ability, which reads, as many times as you like during your turn, you may move an energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Rapid Strike Pokemon. So it basically turns any Rapid Strike deck into a kind of energy toolbox deck where you can kind of move the energy around. Could combo with Cheryl as well, because you can move the energy off of your Rapid Strike Pokemon, Cheryl, move the energy back to your Rapid Strike Pokemon. And with evolution supports coming out, like we saw with the evolution beverage or sports drink or whatever we saw earlier in the video, maybe getting these kind of stage 2 Pokemon into play won't be so bad. Now, Bronzong's not seeing a ton of play right now. Bronzong stage 1 Pokemon has similar ability for Pokemon or for metal type energy. But I think that Pokemon GX and Pokemon Tag Team GX are really kind of overshadowing evolved Pokemon at this point in the game right now. But maybe Florigis sees some play in some kind of deck in the future. Pinsir, Single Strike, Vice Coach. Damage from your Single Strike Pokemon's attacks is not affected by resistance. It's a basic Pokemon, so it's kind of a nifty little ability. Very niche, but if resistance ever ended up mattering for a Single Strike deck, then Pinsir would be a nice little card to have. Melodic is a Rapid Strike Pokemon with the ability Do Protection. Prevent all effects done to your hand by supporter cards your opponent plays from their hand. No more Marnie. All right, but the catch is you have to set up a stage 1 Pokemon with a pretty weak attack, a miserable attack. You'll never use Double Smash, and if you do, you're probably not winning. So you have to dedicate space to a stage 1 card, which waters down your deck. Get it? All right, which dilutes your deck, okay? And then you have to set it up. What if your opponent stops you from setting up Melodic with their Marnie? Wouldn't that just be cruel, right? Now, maybe a control deck. That's really the only kind of deck that I could see wanting to maybe devote the space, right, to actually setting up Melodic. Other than that, this card would be so much better if a card like Ditto Prism Star was legal in standard format, right? Because Ditto Prism Star would allow you to just kind of splash this card into your deck, but having to go ahead and put a Phoebus, you don't want, listen, no offense, Phoebus, you're not going to want to have to put a 30 hit point Phoebus in your deck, okay? You're really not going to want to. Eldegoss with the Cotton Carrier ability. Reads once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and put them into your hand. Nope. All right, Gossifleur looking real cute. Look at that little Gossifleur. That's fun. Smeargle. Live Painting, reveal any number of basic energy from your hand. This attack does 30 more damage for each basic energy type you revealed in this way. All right, chat. How many different types of basic energy are there? If you reveal 8 different types of basic energy, you're going to be dealing 270 base damage for just 2 colorless energy, which you can pay for with Twin Energy. Now, in expanded format, you'll have access to 9 different types of basic energy, since Fairy type will live on, I think, at least for a while, in expanded format. So you could deal base 300 damage in expanded formats. 270 damage for just 2 colorless energy is pretty good, but getting 8 basic energy into your hand is pretty tough. And then, not losing them to Marnie and stuff like that could be pretty problematic. But all in all, I mean, definitely a fun little card, and it would definitely be epic to knock out your opponent's tag team Pokemon GX with a little Smeargle that only has 80 hit points. Gordy is a supporter card that allows you to look at the top 7 cards from your deck and reveal any number of energy you find there and put them into your hand, then shuffle the remaining cards back into your deck. Looks like Smeargle's got a new best friend. Now, Gordy could be useful to fetch out energy for your Smeargle, but honestly, just draw the top 7 cards of your deck with your supporter, and then you will end up putting the energy cards from the top 7 cards in your deck into your hand anyway, because you will draw them with Research. I think Research is just simply a better card. Dreamball is an item that you can only play if you draw it as a prize card before putting it into your hand. You can search your deck for a Pokemon and put it onto your bench. So you can Dreamball, but only if you take it as a prize. Okay. And that's interesting. And not good. So we're going to move on. There's no way. Not worth it. Yes, you could put a stage 2 Pokemon into play. Yes, you could search your deck and put a Pokemon VMAX into play. Not worth it. You got to draw it as a prize card. I mean, I've said that these kind of cards would never be good before, but then look, people decided to start playing, you know, the juggling Mr. Mime from the Detective Pikachu set, and playing the Oranguru, and then playing the Jirachi Prism Star. Okay, you know, not worth it. Okay, and then you have to take the prize, but then, like, to be honest, if you're taking a prize, why don't you just like continue trying to take your prizes? That it's too much work for not enough payoff, all right? Because then what if you have the evolved Pokemon that you want to get from your deck in your hand? I think if you want to skip evolutions altogether, just go play the Vaporeon VMAX. Seems like a much easier way to do it, right? For sure. Treasure Energy. While attached to a Pokemon, this card provides 1 colorless energy. When you took this card as a face-down prize card, before putting it into your hand, boom, you can attack. This card rocks. If you're playing a deck, you might as well. If you're playing a deck, I think Capture Energy is just better in decks that like have some colorless energy requirements. But if you're playing an all colorless deck, you can bet I'm slapping 4 Treasure Energy in that deck, because I mean, how rock and roll is that? Ooh, I got my Treasure Energy. Let's go. Yeah, just sling that right into play. Now, you know, getting to search out a Pokemon when you take it off your prize, getting to attach a bonus energy, could see it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just an energy, right? So, like, whatever. I do think that Capture Energy at this point is the strongest single colorless energy in the game. So I do expect that most decks that have like a few spaces for Capture Energy will just play Capture Energy rather than Treasure Energy. But, well, you know, what's not fun about attaching a bonus energy if you take it off your prize? Cool card. I like it. Raichu, it's got some pretty neat artwork there. It's got Rotom in the background, and Swebly? Who is that? Little Leaf Man Senior? Swebble? Raichu, featuring Rotom and Caterpie. Knows the attack. Big Sparks. This attack does 50 damage to each of your Pokemon V and Pokemon GX. Pretty decent spread attack, but you can't even play it with you know, your own Jolteon VMAX because you'll damage it. And then Thunderbolt for 2 lightning and a colorless does 180 damage. I think as far as spread goes, both Jolteon VMAX and Zeraora V are stronger. And then, of course, if your opponent Cheryl's their Pokemon VMAX after you put a bunch of Big Sparks on them, gonna be having a bad time. There we go. Oh, wow. Look, a Leavanny with a Caterpie. That's so nice. That's so nice of the Leavanny to take care of the Caterpie, despite the fact that they're not related. Wait. Caterpie? Swampert. Mudmaker. Once during your turn, you may attach 1 water or fighting energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon in play. Okay. 1 water or a fighting energy, right? To one of your Pokemon in play. It's a stage 2, but you get to attach bonus water energies or bonus fighting energies, which is pretty cool. This calls back to the OG Swampert. The very first. He was number 1. As a side note, you guys ever taken a serious look at Mega Swampert? My God. All right, yeah, moving on. The original Swamp Dog with the Water Call Pokepower, right? Once during your turn, you may attach a water energy from your hand to your active Pokemon. This ability is slightly better. Doesn't have to be to your active Pokemon. Can be water or fighting, right? Which is pretty neat. Also has 60 more hit points than it did in 2003. let's just go ahead and consider that for a moment. This Pokemon, just go ahead and close your eyes and just meditate on this fact that this Swampert has 60 more hit points than it did in 2003, over 15 years ago. But basic Pokemon have over almost 150 more HP than they did in 2003. In 2003, your basic Pokemon probably had about 100 HP. Now they have 280. So, yeah. 150, 160 more HP. I'm just saying, I wasn't kidding when I said Stage 2 Pokemon gotta have 300 HP. I was not kidding, chat. I was not kidding. 170, cool. Gotta be 300. I'm not playing. If I got a Stage 2 Pokemon into play, it better have 300 HP, okay? It better have 300 HP. And then Earthquake for a Water and 2 colorless. 180 damage. Does 20 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. And Marshtomp is just so cute. Look at him just playing in the rain. Look at that. All Mudkip featuring Sandygast. He's crying. Why is he crying? He's so sad. Oh, here's Zork. But don't worry. It's not as good as Ditto Prism Star. Don't tell me Ditto Prism Star is back. It's not back. All right? It's like a Ditto Prism Star knockoff. This is like dollar store Ditto Prism Star. This is like the Ditto Prism Star, except it's Walmart brand and costs half as much, okay? It's not Ditto Prism Star. It's not better than Ditto Prism Star. No. Shape-shifting illusion. Once during your turn, you may choose a Stage 1 Pokemon from your discard pile, then discard this Pokemon and all cards attached to it, and put the Pokemon you choose in its place. No. There are a number of reasons why this card is not nearly as good as Ditto. Ditto allowed you to splash various Stage 1s into your deck while increasing the consistency of your deck, right? Ditto Prism Star acted as the 5th Zorua in a Zoroark GX deck, right? But then also could count as a Grimer towards your muck line, right? You have to play Zoroark, like a 2/2 Zoroark, to consistently get it into play. So you have to evolve into Zoroark, and then you have to get the Pokemon that you wanted to evolve in the first place into the discard pile in order to then discard the Zoroark and then put that Pokemon into play. There are like 8 more extra steps involved than with Ditto Prism Star. Ditto Prism Star is just, you slap it down, evolve it into whoever you want, no questions asked. Beautiful. That's exactly the ability that I want. You can't even put an energy on this Zoroark and then transfer it to the new Pokemon. It's just, yeah, it's just convoluted. It's not nearly as straightforward. Yeah, you might be able to build some spicy toolbox deck out of it, but don't compare this to Ditto because Ditto was far superior. Ditto Prism Star is one of the best cards for evolved decks that they have ever printed in the history of the Pokemon TCG, and I love that it can just be a 1-of in your deck. I think it's so cool because obviously 4 would be broken, but just 1 Ditto Prism Star allows for so much deck building creativity, whereas this card is really going to clog up your deck. Palo Sand has the Dusk Squeeze. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, you're out of here. Okay, just straight up knocked out. Doesn't matter. Tag Team Pokemon GX, Pokemon V, whatever, what have you. For the low cost of 3 Psychic and a colorless, and the fact that Palo Sand is a Stage 1. But if you were able to somehow pile all of that energy onto your Palo Sand, they might be able to take just 1 knockout before getting Brave Bladed the following turn. And then here's Sandygast. Maybe we can find out why he's so sad. No, he's just holding some seaweed and looking depressed. Kangaskhan Rapid Strike. Who knew that a Kangaskhan's leggy could go up that far? Who knew? Did you know? Don't pretend like you knew. That is a high kick. I mean, look at it. All right, how tall is Kangaskhan? Kangaskhan is 7 foot 3 inches. Okay, that is 7 foot. That is a kick coming right at your noggin. If you're 6 foot tall, that kick is coming straight between the eyes, and you're probably not going to be having a good time. Family combo. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 100 more damage. Straight between the eyes. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell, and of course, check out the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where I stream live Pokemon trading card game content every single weekday. We've got a super welcoming community there, and we'd love you to be a part of it. If you've got extra cards lying around the house and you're trying to get some cash for them or store credit or a new booster box, make sure to check out the Full Grip Games buy list. We are always buying bulk and singles at the shop, and selling your cards to Full Grip Games directly supports the content I create here on Tricky Jim. Y'all have a busted day. Peace.